Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be continuing our classic cinema series with All That Heaven Allows. It was released in 1955. It is written by Peg Fenwick and directed by Douglas Sirk. The film stars Jane Wyman, Rock Hudson, Agnes Moorehead, Conrad Nagel, and Virginia Gray. An upper-class widow falls in love with a much younger, down-to-earth nurseryman, much to the disapproval of her children and criticism of her country club peers. And now I'm going to be watching the Blu-ray copy I have of All That Heaven Allows. You can currently stream it on the Criterion channel, but you can also rent it on Apple and Fandango at home for $4. I say we get things kicked off. We are going to be pressing play on All That Heaven Allows, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another classic cinema series. I am your host, Pat Brennan, as always, for this classic cinema series with a Douglas Sirk coming in with All That Heaven Allows, Jane Wyman and Rock Hudson. It should be a very interesting conversation that we have with this episode. I think especially with this episode that Douglas Sirk, when he first read the script, wasn't the greatest, I think he said the greatest fan of it. He said that it was very basic, I guess, in his mind. He said it was very basic. And coming off of Magnificent Obsession, I think a lot of Rock Hudson fans wanted a collaboration with Rock Hudson and Douglas Sirk. And in a sense, I guess Douglas Sirk said that this is a new collaboration, but in a way it was in his mind, I guess at the time, it was a very basic collaboration. And it's hard to say that this is their best collaboration. I personally think it is. When you have a collaboration of incredible talent and incredible things behind the filmmaking, I think it makes for an incredible film. What I think Jane Wyman brings to this role is a legacy of elegance, I guess, in a way. And you have this opening scene here where you have Rock Hudson's character in the background with his Woody in the background. You have his character in the background establishing that he is going to be a major player in this film. And what I was quite interesting in the scene is in the background you have things like kind of on fire or in smoke, like within the frame of what's going on, and you can't really like determine what it is. But I think that smoke also enables a kind of like I guess a way of a disruption, in a sense, a disruption of what's going on in that suburban society. It's something out of the ordinary, but I guess in a way it somewhat is out of the ordinary. Because you have it between the two characters that were just talking in the street, and now obviously we're back in like the patio area, and you have Rock Hudson and Jane Wyman obviously talking together here, but you have Rock Hudson talking to her now, and he's wearing like the outfit he's wearing is all one color, and I mean she's wearing one color as well, but that one color kind of resembles a color of stature that he isn't. And what I think Rock Hudson does well here is he establishes himself as a person that isn't that person that Jane Wyman is, but he makes himself aware of who he is as a person. And then when she asks him the question here, and it cuts to that close up, it shows that he is also a person, but she's also interested in who he is as a person. Because if you didn't have that close up, I think you wouldn't establish who he is as a person right there. If she wasn't interested in who he is as a person, it wouldn't essentially be a close up. It would be a more of a wide. And I think she is more interested in, hey, this person like is my gardener, but he is more a person as opposed to essentially someone who just works in my yard. And I think that's what is important. And I think too with this scene you have the establishment of that 180-degree rule of the scene never leaves the side of Rock Hudson. He's always on that side, and then you have he pulls that same flower that she then sees in the, I guess, vase or vase. I don't know, vase or vase, how it is. It's the same flower, so like you can have that transition of the cut to her in the bedroom, and now we're with her kids. And I think what Sirk does so well is he establishes that the color within the frame is important to the story, but he separates the color in the background to be part of the story, but it never enters the characters in a way. It never enters the characters in a way that would hinder what we're going to see. So you have her daughter here essentially entering the frame within that blue, but her son left the scene. What I love about that is that her daughter eventually down the road. So this film came out in 1955, obviously. So her daughter, I feel like, is more, I guess, established in a way of the relationship between the two, as in her daughter has more of a say in what is going, I guess not is going to happen, but has more of a say in her mother's eyes as to what she wants, I guess. Is kind of what I'm saying. Um, because the way her son left this scene immediately, it was kind of like so this film came out in 1955, so you have the 50s, the 50s drama of America, of like the 50s white picket fence of, you have a mother, father, two kids, boy, girl. This is what society deems you to be. And I mean, you have a 50s melodrama of, she's a widow and her husband died and their father died, and now she has to be the person of the household that is leading the household. And you have your two kids within this scene determining, like, hey, like, I know our father passed away, but you still need to be a member of society, of this this suburban area of New England where we live. Like, you have to still maintain that suburban like idea of who we are, and that's like that American dream, the white picket fence, and in her kids' minds, like, that's who we are. Even though our father passed away, like, it doesn't matter. You still have to maintain that idea of who we are. And I think if you have the mother dress, like, obviously she's dressed in red, and it's opposite of who her son is completely dressed in black right now. And I think her daughter have, like, I need to see the I need to see the opposite shot of her. But like you have the son bringing like this older man to the house to be like, this is the man society of like who we are. And again, like I said, it's the 50s. The 50s are a very America, like, hey, this is how America is. You have that white picket fence. You have the country club, like the Stonehenge country. Like, you have that country club idea of, this is the country club. This is what you need to be as a suburban wife. And even though you're a widow, you still need to like put up that facade of being that suburban wife. And what I think Douglas Sirk does well is in these scenes, if you watch Jane Wyman, she's the one that is the most lit in the scene. Like, he has a bunch of overheads, but if you watch how he lights the overheads, a lot of those scenes are either focused on the wives of the men or essentially on Jane Wyman. Like, she's the one that's most lit in every single scene. And especially what he does here, he establishes early on of the person that's going to probably be the antagonist of what we're going to see down the road, the antagonist of the person that's going to start the rumors of what we're going to see down the road. But within this scene, you also have establishing Jane Wyman wearing the red to stand out against everyone else. I guess in a sense, because you have her friend who's dressed in blue. She kind of blends in with the wall, but having Jane Wyman dress in the all red, but her quote unquote love interest is also dressed in black, but he blends in with all of the black suits around the area, the tuxedos. Like, he's blending in with society in the sense that this is what society determines a man of this stature to be. And so then you cut to this scene here, the scene of what of they're talking about her being a widow and her being like, kind of like, she needs to find a man, in a sense, a man of stature, a man of wealth. And her friend is essentially saying, like, why does she need to do this if she just lost someone? Like, why does she need to immediately have to find someone? And I think it's important because at this time in like the 50s, you have to find someone in their minds like this. Like, you have to find someone like that. But in the case of her character, she doesn't want to find that immediately because she just lost that. So in her mind, she doesn't want that. She wants to find someone that makes her feel like her. She wants to find someone that makes her feel her. And I think you have this scene, you have this scene of her with her like quote unquote, I guess, love interest of that moment. But when you contrast and you fade into her daughter having the same exact scene that she just had, and I think what Sirk is doing is he's playing it off so well, as in you can have two characters that are related, that are having the same exact moment, but they're having this a very different reaction to the same exact moment. So obviously in the 1950s are a very like turbulent time, 50s and 60s and 70s, a very turbulent time of America, of change, like very sexual, very like I don't know what the word is, like puberty, as like people of like exploring sexuality. And I guess like that, I guess it's like that. It's like you're exploring sexuality in a way that in 1955 when this film came out, it's a very like hush hush, you don't talk about that kind of thing. And I think what this film does well is establish that she as a person is a widow. So she's like wearing black and she's going to these parties, and you have someone there that's like, I know you're like a widow, but you're also like a suburban wife, and you're needing that male figure to take take I don't know if the word is like take over, but you're in the 50s. It was like the woman in their minds of America, like the woman is the household. And again, it shouldn't be, but you have this idea of she's like a suburban wife, and you have the contrast of her as a single woman denying a man who is trying to kiss her, but then her daughter downstairs is accepting a man who is kissing her, telling her that, hey, this is the life you should be living, and if you aren't living this life, you're not what society deems you in the suburban lifestyles of, again, this is like who you're supposed to be. And maybe she doesn't want to be that. And you have the character of Rock Hudson, and he represents that life that she doesn't have. And it's a life that is a lower class of the 1950s. He's a working man. And when you have this, like, you cut to the close up here of him talking to her, you have this close up of, it's more of an honest interaction between the two. And if you establish this early on, the first time he or she talks to him in this scene, it's not a wide, it was a close up that cut to, is a close up to establish their relationship. She is going to respect who he is. And even though he's quote unquote just a gardener, he is someone in her eyes. And with especially that close up here, when he walks up to her and the camera's below him, he's walking up to her asking a question, and he asks if she wants to come. Isn't like when you pull the camera down there, he has control on the scene. So now he is the main control of the relationship. She wants him to take control of the relationship. Even though she is obviously of wealth, she is obviously of someone who is above him in society. She wants him to be someone that's going to take control, in a sense of, like, I know I have money, but you're like the man of, like, I guess, like, you're the man, I guess, like, you, like in the 50s, like, you're the man. So like, please tell me what to do, I guess. I don't know I don't know if I worded that correctly, but um again, like you have him here, he's showing like the growing of flowers. He's showing like it's like it's almost like the growing of their relationship in a sense. It's like this is where this is where their relationship blooms. And I think this is incredibly important. You have them starting this way. And what I think Cirque does well is he establishes the sets to be part of the film. And I know like it's kind of like a weird thing to say, but he shoots these sets like very overlit overhead. And again, this is like a thing where it's like they don't shoot stuff like this anymore. And I think it's like a thing where it's like, I mean, people could be like, oh, you say this every single time, Pat. Like, why do you always say like things don't look like this anymore? But I mean, they don't look like this anymore. Like, they don't have this. This is entirely the lighting is either from the outside or it's overhead, and he's using the shadows as somewhat of a melodramatic noir. I guess they would like I don't know what the correct term would be, but he's using like the overheads and the shadows of adding to the noir, I guess, of or the I guess it'd be like the drama of who Rock Hudson's character is. Like it's like he's the lower class of her society, and he shouldn't be. Like he is his own person, and him being this way isn't something that should be. And he wants her to see that, hey, even though I don't have a lot of I have things. Like I have things to be a human being. I have things to be I have things to be a man. I have things to be a man in the household. And he's showing that even though I'm not like super like fucking rich, basically, I'm not super rich, but I do have means to be someone that is worthy of being a husband. And I think what's great about this scene is I think she knows that he's worthy enough to be a husband, but in her mind, he's this essence of something that she hasn't had before, but she is also like scared of. This is someone that she may fall in love with, but he is the equivalent of being low class in this society. Like he's low class of the suburbs. He drives, I guess, a Woody of that time, and a Woody during this time is like, oh, this man is of I don't know if the term is hardware, but he is of someone that is like a working class man. He is the gardener. He's the person that's like working in your yard. He's the person that is not of society in this way. And I think that what not wants, but I think that she knows that she does have feelings towards him at this moment, but her her lifestyle, especially in that scene, right, like that shot right there of her playing like the piano, and you see her reflection in the mirror of the piano. It's a almost like a reflection of, in her mind she wants that, but in reality she can't have that right now because her class system is, I own this house. Like I own this house, I own this piano, I own this living room, and like everything within this scene. But the person that is outside in this scene, that is caretaking her lawn, that is caretaking, I guess, like the entire area of her house, this is the person that she loves, but he's not in within the household. And then when you have him enter the door here, you have this interaction of him, especially wearing all black, like him wearing all black and being invited, quote unquote, into the scene, especially here, as it's almost like a, you're being invited into this conversation. And actually, what I love about what Jane Wyman does, she doesn't close the door here in the background. She leaves it open, as in someone's going to be coming in and out in this conversation. It could be Rock Hudson's character, or it could be her friend, as in her friend doesn't really see him as a person. She sees him as a worker. But once the door closes, is now you have the interaction of love between the two, but she is still scared of, hey, the person that just left is like has say in the town, has say in anything that happens. And if she sees what we're doing, I guess this is the right term. If she sees what we're doing, it's gonna hurt me, and I don't want her to. I don't want her to see that. And what I love about this scene now too is like, once she gets in the car with him, now she's going to see the relationship that he's created for himself. She's gonna see that money isn't everything. She's gonna see that money is something that is obviously valued, but it's something that isn't what determines relationships, determines friendships. It determines, I guess, a class system. And she's now going to see that she's essentially somewhat overdressed for these scenes. And I think especially like his red flannel here is like perfect. I think dressing him in this red flannel, I think, really establishes his character. Because I feel like when people think of a flannel, they think of like kind of like a lumberjack in the woods, like someone that's like just chopping wood, or like he's. It's weird to say, like, again, like it's a perfect costume design because it establishes like someone like that, that's like you would think is someone of like a lower class society from her, though. And how you light this scene is, if you look at the way she's lit, her face is entirely lit this entire time. Like a lot of their faces aren't lit that way. Like her face is completely lit this entire time. And I think that's what like really sells this scene. And then you have her reading Thoreau, and I think Sir Ken mentioned that his dad had made him read Thoreau, and he realized that like I think he realized that he could insert his own like feeling or like, I guess, thoughts on the source material, because when he first read this script, he thought it was very like, I think he thought it was very basic. He thought it was very like, there's nothing in depth here. It's more of just like a simple story of, oh, they're like of different classes, and oh, they fall in love. Like, what's different about this? But I think he thought at the time that he could probably put his own handwriting into the film, or like his own literary like knowledge, and that's like why he I think that's why he like thought of his dad when he thought of inserting like Thoreau, especially into this scene of her being in this environment with Rock Hudson's friends. Like, it's establishing that she isn't of, like, obviously it isn't of that class, but she wants to like understand. It's not like she's like closing them off. And you have the way that Cirque lights the friend is like, her she's perfectly like lit. Like, it's not like she's trying to like, not trying to like close her off, but she's listening. And you have her walking around with the blocking, like, and Jane Wyman's character doesn't stand up. Like, she's listening to what the friend has to say. And I think it's important to also have the characters that come into this scene especially the way that she interacts with Rock Hudson's character, as in, you don't really know if her character is kind of like a daughter or a friend, or I don't know, maybe like another family member, but you have this interaction here too, especially with her and Rock Hudson, as in, is this guy like this, all do all of these women just like love Rock Hudson, or do they love the idea of him being this presence on the screen of, not controlling in a way, but like draws your attention. And I kind of say, like, especially watching this film, like, you kind of feel like he is like a, has like an Elvis presence, where like you see him but you like can't take your eyes off of him. Like, it's like a thing where it's like your eyes are drawn to what you see. And what I love about this, again, this whole scene coming in, is you see these different relationships between quote unquote lower class people. Like, I hate saying that, but it's like lower class. Like, these aren't the people that she would normally hang out with. And you have her dressed in this like silk like robe, like her dress, like she is showing that she has money. But the people coming in are like either in a interracial couple or like single older people. These, they don't have a lot of money, but they're coming in to like have a meal with other people that are comfortable with the way that they live. But it's like a happy comfortable. It's like they want to be this way, and they don't need they don't need wealth to show that they are happy. And I think it's also important to have Rock Hudson's character open that bottle of, I guess, like wine or whiskey, whatever it is. Like, you have him open it. It's almost like a peace offering of cultures, a peace offering of, this is who we are, and it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to like also be someone that is not of wealth. It's okay to like have fun. It's okay to let your guard down. I guess is the term. It's okay to let your guard down. It's okay to be you, and he is allowing her to be you. He's allowing her to be someone that she's probably never been, and I think that's what's important in this film. I think that's what's important in life is you're allowed to be someone that you've never been before, and someone that you feel like is comfortable. And I think it's important to find that person that makes you feel that way. I think it's important to make sorry. It's important to make sure you find that person that makes you feel that way, because once you find the person that makes you feel that way, I think it makes your life just like incredible. I think it makes your life feel like your life has meaning, and I think that's what this film was trying to say. I mean, the title of the film is All That Heaven Allows, but what does heaven allow? What is heaven trying to say? I'm not a religious person, but what is heaven trying to say? Is this all that heaven allows? Does heaven only allow your happiness if you keep it secret? And does heaven only allow your happiness if it's snowing outside? I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Who knows, though? But I remember the first time I watched this was in college at Temple University in Philadelphia, and I remember when Rock Hudson was feeding the deer right there in that scene. I remember I got a big laugh in the auditorium. That was of like she's just standing there feeding the deer, which is like kind of funny, I guess, in a sense. But again, you have him wear that like iconic red flannel. Like I feel like that red flannel like kind of represents like a it's like again it's like him wearing that red flannel is kind of like a lower class aspect of his character. Like he's wearing the overall red flannel, but then he takes it off and he's still wearing another red flannel underneath. Is like it's almost like the red resembles like a in her mind like a don't go down this route, even though she's kind of also wearing red. So it's like she wants it, but at the same time, like, does she? Like, because the society that she lives in doesn't want her to have this. It doesn't want her to have this love that she's found because of the class that she has. And but you have him wearing the red and her wearing the red. Like I know he's wearing more of a like flannel, like striped, and some people associate striped as in like he knows what he wants, and I mean I think he does know what he wants. He knows that he wants her. He knows that this is what he's always wanted. And I think he knows that also like the class system of them is going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue down the road, and he's just wanting to be he just want to be who he wants to be. He's always wanted to be, and he knows that the love that he has for her is something that he's always wanted, and he's wanting this for a while. And this is like the greatest part of this film is the blue silhouette window. I think is like the most iconic part of this film. I think this is incredible filmmaking. What I love about this film is like that it's kind of like you're foreshadowing the coldness of society in the background of what's about to come, because they obviously both want this. They both want that that life. They want that love. They want the love that they've always been searching for, and they feel like obviously the love between them is the love that they've always wanted. And the class system between them is the hindering factor. I guess that's like the term, the hindering factor of holding them back. And they know, especially she knows that, like, if she tells society that she's marrying someone who's quote unquote a gardener, she's falling in love with someone who is not of business standpoints. He's not of society in her terms. He's not the suburban dad, the suburban lifestyle. And I mean, especially her right here breaking like that vase or that cup. She breaks it, and he says, and when he says like it doesn't matter, and he's standing in the dark, it's almost like it doesn't matter. Like, I'm whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll accept what you want. And her then start to walk out into the cold. She knows that if she walks out into that cold, that is the coldness that she doesn't want. She doesn't want to be alone. She doesn't want to be alone in that household that she lives in, obviously, because she's not a witch by herself. But if she goes into the cold, she's fully by herself. And like, she knows that, like, she loves him. And now that she's saying that, like, she can't leave this house, because she knows that this is the love that she wants. And then for me, the deer represents like everything that is this film. The deer represents the happiness that they want, represents like kind of everything for me. I think when you see the deer represents like the happiness between them. And I think it's important. Like, you have creatures like that are of nature. It's almost like a beauty of nature. And I think the beauty of nature is you can look at it and see that it doesn't matter what race, class, sexuality, it doesn't matter. Like, we can all appreciate the beauty of nature. And I think that's what this, especially this cabin setting, is supposed to establish, is the beauty of nature, of who they are. And their relationship is nature. Nature can blend. It doesn't matter if you're a tree, a plant, a flower, grass. It doesn't matter. As long as you accept who you are, it doesn't matter what you are. I don't know if that made sense. As long as you can accept who you are, it doesn't matter what you are. And I think that's what's important. I think it's important to establish that you can be someone that is not of a certain class but have the same respect of that class. And I think that's what Rock Hudson's character is trying to be. He's trying to be someone that is of that class, and you should respect him the same way. And especially this scene right here, when she comes out and you have him get out of the car and he puts her in the car. But it's important that you cut into that shop. When you cut into that shop, that person in the shop is judging who they are. They're judging the class of who they are. And I think it's important that you have that. It's a thing where if you don't have that, it would, again, like, I think that takes away from what this film was trying to say. This entire film was trying to say that you can fall in love with someone and love someone for who they are, regardless of what they are. And I think that's important, especially, I mean, I wasn't obviously alive in 1955 when this film came out, but I think it's important to show that, hey, in 1955, you can think the same way as in 2026. These films are important. Even though she's this suburban wife that has lost her husband, and you have her friend here now dressed in black. Like, her friend is now mourning for her, but she's wearing more of a brighter color, as in maybe she's found someone. Maybe she's found someone that treats her well, and she's gonna say here, like, oh, you're seeing someone, like, oh, she's scared for her friend that the town is gonna talk. The area she lives in is gonna talk. She's gonna talk about, oh, you're seeing, quote unquote, the gardener. The gardener is someone who's low class. He does your yard. Like, that's not. And when she, like, essentially the way she's looking at her here, she's saying, like, how dare you talk about him like that? Like, you're dating the gardener. Like, how dare, like, the whole town's gonna be talking about you, the gardener, quote unquote. And rumors are now gonna start about their relationship. Did you, like, he's the gardener, so, like, he's obviously been here before. He was here when your husband was still alive. So what are people gonna say? What are people gonna say about their relationship prior to this? It wasn't just a simple, oh, it was just a one time, like, thing. No, they're gonna say you've been doing this for a while. And I think this doesn't only apply, like, to this film. It's like, I guess what it's like hot gossip. It's like a gossip of a thing of, some people hear this type of situation that happens, and what do? They exaggerate what happens. So, like, they live in this area, and for them, hearing this type of gossip is like a big thing for them. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna make sure that people know about this. So it kind of sucks that, like, she even says, like, something in people that is mean and deep inside of them. Like, they're gonna bring this out no matter what. And it sucks that people, like, do this shit. People are just mean. They're mean people. And then you have someone that goes to the train station that kind of plants in the idea of, towards her kids, of, hey, like, I heard your mom's, like, seeing someone anyway. Like, you should go see what's going on back there. Like, you have this person that's immediately planting this idea of, hey, your mom is, quote unquote, seeing someone who's not of our class. Like, you should go and talk to her about that. And it's really messed up of her supposedly friend to do that. And I think it's also interesting that her character is now dressed in all black in this scene. It's kind of foreshadowing how her kids are going to react to this. It's not going to be a very pleasant experience between them. And you have her dressed in black. She's probably scared of what her kids are going to say. You're establishing what the kids' interaction is going to be via her costume design, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. Obviously, her kids immediately think that she's going to be married to the past guy that she's been seeing, and they think that it's gonna be a beautiful relationship. And again, it's kind of like a class thing. Like, oh, he's rich, and you were talking to him before we left, so now we just automatically assume that that person is going to be the person that you're going to marry. And you have this shot here of them looking at her, and she's looking at them. Again, she's wearing all black. She is the one that is going to be telling them what's happening. And it's almost kind of like a wearing the black kind of resembles like not a death, but like a separation between her and her kids. Um, Obviously, the kids are going to immediately judge her for her decision, and I think her wearing the black is like kind of like her being prepared for that in a sense. It's like being prepared for like the worst thing that's probably going to happen. And I think this is the worst thing that's going to happen is like I don't think she cares of what's happening in the town of what they think of her. She obviously really cares about what her kids think of her, um, which is funny. I think the her daughter actually looks like a lot like Lily Collins, which is like kind of throwing me off a little bit. She kind of looks like a lot like Lily Collins. But you have her son here that is like really establishing himself as like I'm the man of the house. Like this is you shouldn't be doing this, mom. I'm the man. Like I'm supposed to be the one that now controls like my father isn't here. I'm supposed to be the one that controls how the house is run. So now we have Rock Hudson's character coming in to be like, hey, like I'm in love with your mom. I'm going to be marrying her, and I can be at the same level. And he has like the what I love what they do here is he's wearing like a three-piece suit as opposed to her son. He's essentially like overdressed for the scene as opposed to the son who is like I guess in his mind he would be normally dressed for the scene. You have Rock Hudson's character that is overly dressed, as in he in my mind when I see that he can be part of that society, but he also doesn't want it like at all. Like he doesn't want to be that society, and he's comfortable with who he is and what he does. Like he can dress that way, and then you have like a two shot here of him and the daughter. I think the daughter is also like kind of trying to understand of what's going on, and she is somewhat sympathetic, but the son is so like out of it. Like he doesn't want this at all. Like he's so far out of it. Like he thinks that obviously Rocket like it's almost like he thinks that like he's in it for the money and like I guess I don't know if he's in it for the money, but he thinks that he's in it just for like a class status. I guess that's like he's in it for a class status. And you have Rock Hudson wearing a three-piece suit, like he's essentially somewhat. I guess you would say he's overdressed for the scene. Like I think that's kind of what I'm getting. He's like overdressed for the scene. Like he can be this person if he wants to be, but he doesn't want to be that person. And I think one of the perfect lines of dialogue in this scene is they say like, "Does that matter that much?" And I think she says it shouldn't matter that much. Like wealth shouldn't matter this much, but in a sense, it does. I think it's trying to show that like she doesn't want to see she doesn't want to see the class below her, but like it's obviously obvious the class below her. Like, it's like, come on, like, how can you not see that? How can you not see that he is not of that? I mean, I think it's like a weird thing to say, but it's like they're of something that isn't of that status, especially in the 1950s. The 1950s are a very suburban, like, white America. This is what white America should be. And I think it's something that's like really lost on people, that when people think of the American dream, people think of like white suburbia, and you should be thinking of multiple races. That is not like, you should be thinking of other people. Like, why are you only thinking of white people? You should be thinking of people of different class, people of different race. Like, they're allowed to have that American dream. And I think Rock Hudson's character, especially in the 1955, is representing a dream that other people of lower class haven't had before. And I think it's important. I think it's important that you have that. And I also think it's important in this scene, especially, you have like younger generations that are the only ones that are actually speaking to Rock Hudson's character in a manner of, I guess, in a manner of curiosity or a manner of respect. And then you have this person right here that comes in that is more of a older generation, as in like, oh, where have I seen you before? And Rock Hudson says like, I mean, you've obviously seen me before. I trim your bushes. I'm your gardener. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she just leaves, as in like, oh, you're a working class man. You don't deserve my respect of that. And it's sad to say that that's how people think. That's how people think. Like, you're a working class man like that. You don't deserve my respect. And it's it's really fucked up that people think that way. Like, really fucked up that people think that way. So now you obviously have Howard here, that is representing the past life that she had before. Howard maybe represents her past husband. And you have this shot here, especially like with him like trying to kiss her in the mirror. Like, he never really, like, it's not a close up. And then you have Rock Hudson coming up here, like, that grabs her. And what I love about this shot right here is the colors of his suit and her dress really blend together. It makes it look like, again, almost black. It's now to establish that they're really like one. Like, she really sees him as like a protector in a way. Like, he's going to protect her in that setting, as in, hey, Howard, like, fuck off, basically. That's essentially what he's saying. Like, hey, Howard, like, go fuck yourself, basically. Howard got really, really fucked in that scene, and rightfully so. Howard's kind of a loser. And I think this scene's also like incredibly important, and this scene really establishes the relationship between her and her son, and I think it's lit incredibly well. I mean, she's completely lit. Her face is completely lit in this entire scene, and she's kind of boxed in this cage of society that her son, like again, her son, I guess, once the father, quote unquote, dies in the household, like the son assumes that he's the man of the household now. So you have these scenes of him with her and his mother of he's trying to establish his dominance, and the way you light it is kind of like a noir lighting. Again, it's like a melodramatic Douglas Sirk lighting. It's this is how the man in this situation is going to interact in this scene. And again, it's like a 1950s idea of like him saying like I'm the man, and the way she's lit, though her entire face is lit, but his eyes are the only one that's lit. He's piercing into her, like completely piercing into her. And he said like this is the tradition, and I love this shot here of him like behind kind of like a cage in a way, like it's a separation between them. You don't even see his face right here, like it's completely like separation of who he is. He's a completely separation of who he is. And then she leans on that, I guess, cage in a sense of she's lost him. Like he's gone. She completely has lost him. Completely has lost him. He won't speak to her unless she's not marrying Rock Hudson. Which again, and then you have like a lighting here. Like it's like a blue. It's like you're that blue's like foreshadowing just like coldness constant. It's like a coldness constant between this entire family. What I love about this scene, I love the rainbow color here. Like it's like a I think the rainbow color like really represents her daughter's character in that I think there's aspects of what her daughter sees in her that she respects, but I feel like she wants to be that traditional person, that traditional way of society. But you have like the 50s, and obviously the 60s haven't happened yet, and obviously the 70s haven't happened yet. But I feel like, especially in the 50s, there's this idea of like a sexual revolution of the people in the 50s are eventually going to be going to the 60s, and they're going to be more open with their sexuality, and the idea of a white picket fence suburban dad, mom, brother, sister life, perfect life, sexuality isn't talked about. You're determined to be what your life is depending on your family that you grew up in. Like I think the rainbow like represents like a difference in all of that. Like it could be you fall anywhere on that rainbow. Like it's kind of like in like you have her here. It's kind of like an almost like an unease of maybe she also feels that way. Like it's not just her daughter is like feeling this way of like not questioning who she is, but questioning the way that society is. And you have this rainbow effect on her face. It's like she thinks that society will say in her suburban life that you're throwing away your life, quote unquote. But she wants this, even though others don't want this for her. She wants this life. She wants Rock Hudson. Like she knows that this is the life that she wants. But at the same time, she's obviously very scared because if people know that she's married to someone of lower class, then she's now like not accepted in society, and like the idea of that is just like so messed up, so fucked up. And like she says here, like maybe if people get the idea of us being together, they'll accept us for who we are. Like we should at first go around town and be together, and now that we're together and being that way, like then they will eventually accept us. And but he knows very well that people will never accept them, and he's never going to change who he is. Like he's never going to change who he is as a person. And I think obviously I think Douglas Sirk like has commented on this script too. Like he said that like Rock Hudson's character is very like kind of one note basic in a sense. Like it's one note, like he's never gonna change of who he is. But I think it's important that he's never gonna change of who he is. I think he knows who he is. Like he knows that's who he is as a person, and like he knows that if he changed who he is as a it would make things so much easier. But they have this conversation between the two, and the way it's lit, it's very very dark again. Like it's a coldness dark. Like she's trying to ask him to do something that he doesn't want to do. He doesn't like want to be changed from who he is as a person. Like he's not gonna go up into that society to be who she wants to be. And her like in the darkness is thinking that like his life is somewhat of a darkness for her. Like she's never seen that life, so she thinks it's like kind of a darkness. So for her, it's like she's telling him that like you have to choose this life that you've always wanted, or me. And it's like kind of a life that for her she's never had to choose for, but she's making him choose for it. And like him wearing that like obviously dark, like the dark blue there. I don't think it's black, but he's wearing like the dark blue. Like that's her telling him that like you need to make this decision yourself. Like this is a darkness that you need to establish for me, which isn't really fair to him. It's not fair to him. Also, the subtleness of her friend closing the door on the person vacuuming the stairs isn't like, oh, like I can close out the person that's low class. I just have to close the door. And very again, very subtle. A very subtle closing the door. You close out that aspect of society like that you don't want to see. It's messed up, but very simple to do via images. Via images. And her friend is telling her like, oh, like now that you've denied the low class proposal, you'll be welcome back into society. And then you have her son calls her, and she doesn't, the camera never cuts to her son until she tells him that, oh, I'm not marrying him. And then he says, oh, great. And then what does that do? The camera then cuts to him, as in like, oh, now he's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it now because you're not marrying him, and that's perfectly fine for the society that we live in. And again, really messed up. He's only okay with it if it's okay with society. What I love about this too is like you have this doctor kind of come in and out of the entire film, and he's kind of like a person that's like waiting to be like, hey, you should maybe listen to what your heart and mind are saying, because your heart and mind could be saying something that you don't know yet, or you do know but you're trying to repress. But like again, I'll say it again. Like Cirque lights her from overhead. He lights her in the entirely one that's the only one lit, and there's a reason why he's doing that. He's lighting her to establish that she's the main focus of this story. She will be the main focus of this story. And I kind of love that. I guess this is a Christmas film here. Because you have, again, that red flannel. I read that iconic red flannel at this point, and it's very iconic in the story. And I think you have, like, especially like this scene too. Like, Christmas is kind of, it's a time of love, and a time of love and family, and you're wanting that love and warmth in your heart. And the looks here that they give each other show like the love that they have for each other. And I think I've commented to my friends that I've seen this film. I've commented that especially this scene here really shows like a 1940s like look in film of two characters that are in love with each other, the way they look at each other. And again, it's 1955, so it's going to be shot completely different, but you have this 1940s look towards each other that doesn't go away. And they don't have this look, obviously, in film anymore. They don't have this look of love like that. And again, then you have the idea of like, oh, could he possibly be moving on like that fast? And I think with Rock Hudson's character is like, could he try to move on? Yeah, but like he'll never be able to move on. Like he wore that red flannel the first time he took her to his friend's place. Like that's he's wearing it now. That's his love. He knows that's his love. It's an interesting tree. Very, very wide, spacious, empty, like branches tree here. I mean, snow just looks so good on film. So good on film. I mean, that window shot too is like perfection. Just looks so amazing. Looks so fucking good. Just looks so good. I feel like Spielberg has probably used it. I think he used the same shot in Catch Me If You Can, that with that lighting and the way the window looks. I think he used that same that same look. Honestly, I mean, I don't blame him. I would use the same look too. I think it looks fucking incredible. Again, you have now her son comes back, and the contrast of now her daughter is wearing this full on color of red, the color of love, the color of her wedding that she's going to be at. And then you have the contrast of Jane Wyman wearing all black, is in a red and black. Very simple costume design, but it's effective. And you have her daughter eventually say here that you didn't really love him, did you? But it's kind of like a thing where it's like, how dare you say you didn't really love him? It's a, I did love him. So yeah, you really didn't really love him, did you? And again, it's kind of like a, what? Like, what do you mean I didn't really love him? And now, and then obviously this scene goes forward. Like prior to this, you had her children saying like, you can't marry this man. This man is of low, like you can't. Where would he go? We're gonna leave this household. We're gonna go to this farm. Like you can't have this. You can't have us living by the lake. And now all of a sudden, once the daughter's getting married, and now once like, oh, I'm gonna be going to London. I could be going to London next month or Paris. We should sell the house now because I'm in control of your life. I'm in control of what we do now. And now that I'm in control of what we do, I can say that we can sell the house. Like now the house is too big for one person. But they didn't want to get rid of the house before because in their minds they were fine with it. But now that time has passed, they have their own lives. They're allowed to live their lives, but their mother is not allowed to live their life. And how her son determines how she can live her life is he says all like he has the guy who has the TV. He says all you have to do is turn on the dial and you have all the company you want. And then you have this shot of her within the TV like, hey, like this is all you need, right? You just need to look into the TV. This is all you need. And again, it's in the 1950s. TV's a thriving market. People can go home and watch TV. And once they watch TV, they can be within those sitcoms, within those worlds. Again, you have Rock Hudson here wearing the red flannel of the red flannel of love is what I'm going to say. It's the red flannel of love. The red flannel resembles the love that he's been longing for. And he's lost now. Like, he's lost now. And, like, you kind of have the flannel open. Like, it's kind of like it's not closed. Like, he's lost in what he wants to. Like, he wants her, but he's lost in the idea of losing her. And he can't shoot straight anymore. He's always been able to shoot straight, but he can't do it anymore because he feels like a lost person. He doesn't know who he is. I love this scene too, like with her and her doctor. Like she's going to the doctor, like I have headaches. I don't know what's going on. Like my head really hurts, and the doctor's just kind of like, "You have nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with headaches. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Hey, you're in love with a guy that you think you shouldn't be in love with, and you should marry him. I don't care. It doesn't matter what society says. Like the reason why your head is hurting, the reason why your heart is hurting, or the reason why your stomach is hurting is because you should be married to this person. And your brain is telling you something that you think society should be telling you. And you're not sick. You're perfectly fine. So what do? You should go to him. And he, like he even says one of the lines he says is, if you love him, then you would have gone to him. As in, what are you doing here talking to me about your headaches? Your headaches are a manifestation of the love that you have for this person. You should be going to him. And I think what Cirque does well too throughout this film is he'll shoot Wyman by herself. Like he'll shoot her alone because she in her mind thinks that she is alone. And within this scene too is you have the doctor in the frame with her too. The doctor's kind of like, it's almost like he wants to be like, why are you coming to me for this information? Like I can literally diagnose you right now. You're in love, and I think you need to go talk to the person that you're in love with, and I think you need to be with him. I don't understand like why you're here. Like, can you please go to him? The doctor is the only one making sense throughout this entire thing. And here you go. And then you have a scene of her talking to one of Rock Hudson's friends here, and she realizes that she was wrong about one of from Marianne. Like, she was wrong that she read that situation wrong, and she did the same thing that all of society did to him. She jumped to the conclusion of someone that was her friend, that was his friend, saying like, "Oh, I guess they're together," but she immediately jumped to the conclusion of, with them, I can determine that they're together just because of who I am. You're jumping to that conclusion, and she's being the society that she doesn't want to be, and that's not who she is. She knows that that's not who she is. Damn, that house is so beautiful on the pond there. I think it's a pond. I don't think it's a lake. I think it's a pond. I think it looks amazing. So I think it looks amazing. It's amazing how like greatly paced this film is. I mean, it's not a very long film. It's only like I think 90 minutes total. I think it's a very very fast paced film. If you really think about it. I mean, again, this is coming off the heels of Magnificent Obsession. Um, they the fans of Rock Hudson wanted. I think they almost wanted like a sequel of Magnificent Obsession in a sense, and the studio kind of went through their scripts and they tried to determine what would be a good, I guess, follow up with that Cirque and Hudson relationship, and they kind of went with this. And obviously, Rock Hudson's fallen near to his, not his death, but he's gonna almost give up his life to be with her. Like, he's gonna do anything he can to be with her. And but to go back to what I was saying, I think Cirque kind of even said himself that this film wasn't like, I guess the script wasn't the greatest thing he'd ever read. I think he thought it was pretty basic. He thought it was a like run of the mill kind of like, oh, this guy is like in love with this woman and blah blah blah. Nothing's really different here. And I think he did. I think he said he just like, I think I talked about this in the beginning of the episode, but I think he Cirque like kind of established himself as part of the writing team. Like, he kind of transformed the script into what he wanted it to be, and I think he did it pretty well. And especially with the visuals, I think he did it justice. As the again, it is a, I guess if you try to break it down on paper, it is a pretty basic idea, but it's more in depth, especially with the visuals. Like, he's showing you so much more than just a simple script. He's showing you everything within the visual. Especially this scene too. Like, you have the shadows and the cage of like, could he be dead? Like, the darkness resembles like obviously death. Like, could he have died there? And I don't know, if you're an audience member in the 50s, I think you'd be like, there's no way he's dying. He's gonna survive this. He's gonna survive this. It's the 1950s. We're not dark yet. We're not dark yet. And again, you have like, he's the one that's fully lit here, and she's completely dark here, and you're establishing that he's the brightness that is in her life. He's the happiness that's in her life, and he'll always be the happiness that's in her life. And I think that people need that brightness. They need that happiness. They need that love in their life. And it's sad when people don't have it. And I think everyone should have that love, that happiness, that brightness. They should have that love. They should have that love in their life. It's like the way that it's entirely shot. It's like it's all dark, but I mean, some of the like there's like a line that's like said here that's like the beauty and love like that he put into this house is like shown. And I know it's like it's shot dark, but it's like it's still a beauty and a love. Like he's wearing the blue of cold. Like he's wearing the blue that has resembled the cold throughout the film, but like that blue is a beauty. Like it adds to the it adds to who he is. It adds to the environment that he has created, and I think that's important. It's added to this beauty of love, and I think she's just too afraid to accept it, and she doesn't want to let others like make her decisions, and she doesn't want other things in the past to reflect who she is now. Like she loves this man. She loves what he's created. She loves everything that he is. And in her mind, she's never going to leave his side again. And you have the light in the corner. It's legitimately an entirely blue light. Like it's like a blue lamp. And she says here, like, I'm never gonna leave his side again. Like I'm never leaving. Like I don't care what people say. Like I'm never leaving this man's side again. Like he's my person. He's my life. And I've known this, but I was just so afraid to say anything. She doesn't want the pain of him being gone, and you have the close up of him that lingers for I think it's like 8 seconds here. Like not 8 seconds, but it was like 2 seconds. But like it's like the lingering of it's the pain of him being possibly gone, and then you open up this world again of snow, like, and the doctor is like, I don't know if he's gonna wake up. He might wake up eventually, but she doesn't want to ever run away again. It's like it's like a way. It's like it's gonna be like it's gonna take time, but it doesn't matter for her. She's here. She's never going away. It doesn't matter. He represents the love that she's always wanted, and now you have then the deer runs up again, and the deer now has antlers, and to me the deer represents like the love of who he is and what he is, and he'll always come back to her. Like that's just who he is. Like he's that deer. He's always gonna come back, and the deer has come home. And obviously he wakes up here, and the first thing he sees is her. And what does he say? Or what does she say when she first sees him? I mean, it's very, very again, old classic cinema. Classic cinema. She says, "Yes, darling, I've come home." And then what do we see is the final shot? The deer in the window. And it's perfect. A perfect Douglas Sirk melodrama. And I love it. Masterpiece of technicolor and beauty. This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.